We're going to start with some breaking news this morning. The Dunn County Sheriff's Office is asking residents to stay vigilant and secure their doors and be aware of their surroundings as they investigate a suspicious death.
Now, yesterday, just after 2 in the afternoon, 911 was called because of a death in the town of Sheridan. The Sheriff's Office is requesting any information of someone walking in the area or possibly going to a residence to ask for a ride early Sunday morning or late Saturday night. Now, authorities have not released many details about this investigation. We do not know how many are dead or the manner in which they died.
Authorities are still on scene in Dunn County today investigating what they call a suspicious death. We'll take you live to the scene in just a minute, but first we can confirm tonight that multiple people are dead.
The man who found the bodies in the car shared that information with our reporter on scene. He's the one who alerted authorities.
207, do we have an accident or we got something else? It's going to be something else from what I can tell. Looks like a 32 was involved.
It happened here in northern Dunn County in the town of Sheridan, which is near Wheeler. The car was found in a cornfield near the intersection of County Roads F and Triple V.
Yesterday afternoon, they were called to this area around 2 o'clock, saying that they're investigating a suspicious death. And I actually spoke with the man who made the original 911 call, and he says that more than one person is dead. However, authorities did not confirm that yet with us, and he said that he'd like to remain anonymous, but he does say that 3 people were dead inside the vehicle, and when he found them, he called 911.
Then I thought afterwards, wow, what if somebody had been in there alive with a gun? You know, kind of a deal, but at the moment, you know, it shocked me to see it. I got more worried about it afterwards, you know, that what if somebody would have been in there with a gun, you know.
There's 4 occupants, looks to be 32, involved with it. No operator located around.
The 32 mentioned in that recording means it looks like a gun was involved at the scene, which you're seeing now in new drone footage. Those victims located in an SUV in a cornfield near the intersection of County Roads F and Triple V in the town of Sheridan near Wheeler. A man that discovered the crime scene told our news team today that he found multiple bodies in an SUV before he called 911. Sheriff Kevin Bigd says the victims were found dead in a black SUV with Minnesota plates. He also notes there may have been another dark-colored SUV involved, and he asks that anyone with information on the vehicles or the incident to contact his office.
Everybody's a suspect at this point.
The Dunn County Sheriff has not seen a homicide like this in a decades-long career. 4 people killed, found near Wheeler. McKenna Alexander joins us live to go over what we learned today.
Yes, it's something the Dunn County Sheriff says he hasn't seen in his over 3 decades of work.
And 4 Minnesota residents found dead with gunshot wounds here in the Chippewa Valley. Numerous suspects and many questions as to how and why it happened.
Let's check in now with McKenna Alexander in Menominee, where she got the latest on this quadruple homicide from the Sheriff's Office. McKenna, what can you tell us now?
Like you said, there are still so many questions that remain about this case. But one thing officials can say for sure, community is not in any danger at this time. Now, autopsies that were done on those 4 victims yesterday, who we now know as Natasha Flug Presley, Matthew Pettis, Lois Foreman, and Jasmine Sturham, show that the 4 were shot. But Sheriff Bigd would not say how many times each of them was shot and whether those shots were fired here in Dunn County or across the border in the Twin Cities area where they were all from. Bigd says that 2 of the victims were brother and sister, and 1 was a boyfriend of one of the victims. Bigd did say there's no known connection to the area, which is why it's believed that those responsible for the crime are no longer here. However, officials don't know how many people are responsible. Bigd says they're investigating any acquaintance with a connection to the victims.
Everybody's a suspect at this point, so we haven't nailed down anything in particular that and obviously it'd be harmful to our case if we did, and so we're looking at everybody and every possibility.
This morning, we're hearing the heartbreak of a father after 4 people, including his daughter, were found shot dead in Dunn County.
Our own McKenna Alexander has more from a small vigil held last night in the town of Sheridan.
My daughter's body was not too far from here. still trying to grasp the gravity of all this. And just kind of bewildered that this is where my daughter ended up.
When crime scene tape is removed, press conferences come to an end, and time continues to pass in the town of Sheridan. 4 groups of family and friends remain frozen in grief.
You know, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? My daughter ain't hurt a soul.
The father of 30-year-old Natasha Lee Flug Presley feeling the weight of loss Wednesday afternoon as he stood just yards away from where his daughter and her 3 friends were found shot to death.
A major update. The 2 men authorities believe to be responsible for the 4 people found dead in Dunn County are now both in custody. According to Dunn County Sheriff Kevin Bigg, Antoine Suggs turned himself over to police in Gilbert, Arizona earlier today. Suggs had been living in Phoenix and traveled to the Twin Cities before the alleged murders. He's been taken to the Maricopa County Jail in Arizona and will then be extradited to Wisconsin later. And details in a newly released criminal complaint shine some light on some of the events that preceded those brutal killings in Dunn County that Suggs is thought to have played a part in. Here's another look at the suspects. The first is Darren McWright, also known as Darren Osborne. And again, Antoine Suggs. We just told you he was arrested today, and both are now in custody. According to the criminal complaint, a witness told authorities she remembered seeing 3 of the victims, Natasha Flug Presley, Jasmine Sturm, and Matthew Pettis, outside a St. Paul bar in the early morning hours of September 12th. The witness says they got into a dark SUV with a man who the witness did not know. A worker at the bar said Suggs was in the bar that night with Flug Presley. Surveillance video from a convenience store near the town of Sheridan, near Wheeler, shows 2 dark SUVs pulled into the parking lot at 12:08 p.m. One a Nissan, the other the Mercedes the bodies were found in just 2 hours later. Authorities later found what they thought to be blood on the ground in that convenience store parking lot. Now, if convicted on the current charges, including 4 counts of hiding a corpse, the 2 men could face up to 50 years in prison. Officials with the Dunn County Sheriff's Office will now take a back seat in the quadruple homicide investigation as the St. Paul Police Department takes over.
McKenna Alexander joins us live in studio to explain why this case's jurisdiction is across the border.
It's been just over a week since 4 adults were found shot to death in an abandoned SUV in the township of Sheridan. All of the victims were from the Twin Cities area, and we now know that all 4 killings took place in Minnesota's capital, not in Dunn County. This new development is why the St. Paul Police Department will now take over the investigation, though the Dunn County Sheriff's Office will still assist the department until the case is closed. Now, we've also gotten updates on the father-son pair of suspects arrested. Darren McWright, who also goes by the last name Osborne, is currently being held in the Ramsey County Law Enforcement Center on several outstanding warrants, including at least 1 in Dunn County. His son, Antoine Suggs, who turned himself into police in Arizona, is still awaiting extradition.
Okay, thanks, McKenna. St. Paul police are still searching for more information about the murders. If you have anything to report, you're asked to contact their department.